I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, eh?
And to those of you watching for the first time on Betfair, welcome to TVG's set right here at the Breeders' Cup World Championships in Arcadia, California, Oak Tree at Santa Anita. I'm Todd Trupp alongside Simon Bray. We're going to now perform for you one of our favorite moments. It's the 4-minute pick four. All the information you need to hit the champions pick four on Saturday for the Breeders' Cup World Championships. There's a guaranteed pool of $1.5 million. It starts in race number 6 on Saturday, the TVG Mile. Let's start the clock. Simon Bray, you're up.
There are 2 turf races in this sequence, and the first is the aforementioned Breeders' Cup Mile. And yes, Betfair customers, go with what you know best, and that's your hometown horses. Europeans are going to dominate the turf races here. I think you first have to look at Delegator. He's got a more favorable post position than probably the morning line favorite and post time favorite in Goldacova. I like his form. There are some question marks about his ability to get the mile distance here, but I think you can see in the Celebration Mile at Goodwood, beat a decent horse in ZENYATTA. I think these horses that don't quite see out the mile here can get a mile here at Santa Anita with the tight turns. I don't think that's going to be an issue. Goldacova, on the other hand, coming off a disappointing performance. There are a myriad of excuses for her disappointing performance. Too close to the pace, 7 furlongs, not quite her distance. So I think back to a mile, back to the scene of her biggest victory here last year. And the outside post could be a problem, but good horses overcome obstacles. She is not a good horse. She is a great horse. She could go back-to-back in the Breeders' Cup Mile.
From a mile on the turf to a mile on the dirt. And yet again, you have to start with the European import, and that is Master Craftsman. On class, he towers over this field, and TVG was there on site at Royal Ascot for the St. James Palace Stakes, where it looked like Delegator had him dead to rights. The Master Craftsman re-rallies to win. But therein lies the problem. It's been kind of a long year for Master Craftsman, and many of the journalists that I've talked to have been following the rest of the year say he's kind of a tired racehorse. But the bottom line is this: with what America is throwing up against him, he could be a tired racehorse. He could be 60% at his best and still win this race. However, I'm going to single him in the pick four, but however, I'm going to look at the exotics, say like an exacta or trifecta, and look for an American horse to be second to Master Craftsman at a big price, and that is MAMBO MEISTER. You're looking at his last effort in the Spindabuck at Calder. He is a true dirt horse. The question is he a synthetic horse? I say yes, after all. He's by King Kugat.
Okay, the Breeders' Cup Turf. Now we go to a mile and a half. It's an absolute embarrassment that the horses that the Americans have put postward here. It's all about the Europeans in here, and it starts with Conduit, last year's defending champion. He has got a good resume this year, winning the King George and Queen Elizabeth Stakes, and then was given a midsummer freshening by great trainer Sir Michael Stout. He comes in off a 4th place finish in the Arc. Historically, Arc also-rans have done extremely well in the Breeders' Cup Turf, and I think Conduit can score right back. If he doesn't, he just has to look down the Shedder and look at his stablemate, Spanish Moon, who has been ruled off in England because of bad gate behavior. That is behind him. He comes in as a fresh racehorse. He missed the Arc in favor of the Breeders' Cup. He won one of the key preps, the Puy Foy, and if he gets into the gate on Breeders' Cup Day, he will be a legitimate threat. It's all about the Europeans in here, and I'll round up the trifecta with Dare Mi. She finished right behind Conduit in the Arc, and I think she could fill out the third spot in this Breeders' Cup Turf.
Simon, here's what's an embarrassment: when Precious Passion goes gate to wire in the turf, and you must apologize to all American horsemen and women. On to the highlight of Saturday and the highlight of the 2 days, the classic ZENYATTA. Perfect. 13 for 13. And many feel, well, this is too deep of a field for her. Let me tell you something. I don't care who's in front of ZENYATTA. She knows what she has to do, run them down. And in her prep race coming in, she looked better than ever in the Lady's Secret. And Mike Smith, her jockey, has said of all the racetracks that she runs on here in California, she prefers this surface here at Santa Anita. ZENYATTA is a deserved morning line favorite, and trust me, she will come running. The key prep race coming in for other horses in the race is the Goodwood. In that race, there wasn't much of a pace up front. Colonel John rallied, Richard's Kid rallied. Mind That Bird didn't really rally, ended up finishing about mid-pack. But the second and third place finishers, Colonel John and Richard's Kid, will be accounted for as well in the Classic. Why have I left out Rip Van Winkle? Because he's overbet and overhyped. That is your 4-minute pick four for the champions pick four Saturday here at the Breeders' Cup World Championships.